I really don't understand what the minority is doing here tonight. I'm not comfortable with this at all. We had caucus meetings this week. This never came up. And I understand under the rules you can ask for it and it can come up almost immediately. But I just am extraordinarily uncomfortable with being asked to hold this session tonight. I won't attend. And I think there's special responsibility on the gentleman for providing documentation in the regular channels in the Intelligence Committee and in the other committees that have oversight over intelligence for the information that you claim you are going to be presenting to this chamber. I would just urge our leadership to not approve this, and I am still reserving my right to object and may, in fact, decide to object.
Is there further objection?
Right to object.
Does the gentlewoman from Ohio withdraw her reservation? Gentlewoman from Ohio withdraws her reservation. Is there further objection? Gentleman from California.
Madam Speaker.
Does the woman reserve the right to object?
Thank you. I object to this process. I am feeling manipulated. My question is, if there is confidential information, why was it not taken to the Intelligence Committee first before there is a secret session? And if you have confidential...
Gentleman will suspend. Does the gentlewoman object to the request?
Yes. I yield.
Does the gentlewoman reserve the right?
I believe the gentlelady is reserving her right to object and then wanted to speak on the issue. Am I correct?
I reserve my right to object. That's what I said before I came to the mic, but I guess I wasn't heard.
Thank you. The gentlelady has the floor.
Gentlelady from California.
Thank you. I want to know why the Intelligence Committee did not receive the confidential information that I am hearing is going to be discussed here. If the information discussed here is not confidential, why do we need a secret session? And to what end are we having this? We're supposed to vote on FISA tomorrow. I understand there's a compromise that pretty much has been agreed upon. I've been whipping it. And so I want to know to what end to have this secret session. I would like to yield to you, Mr. Blunt.
I thank the gentlelady for yielding. I would say that my every knowledge I have would indicate that our intelligence committees have seen the information, and that does not preclude moving to secret session to share information with other members. And I appreciate what some other members have said about the difficulty of remembering what's secret and what's not, because those of us who have the obligation or the clearance level to look at this information have to do that. I think the information we'll bring to the floor will not be confusing to the members, but enlightening to the members, and that's why I propose that we'll move for a secret session later in the day if this UC is not agreed to.
Reclaiming my time, I would like to know the purpose of this secret session. If you have confidential information, why it was not taken to intelligence before it was brought here to the chambers in secret. I've got to go back to my district and explain to my constituents why we had a secret session before we voted on the FISA bill. I yield.
I actually think it'd be harder to explain to our constituents why we didn't have a secret session. This is a bill that goes well beyond the information that most members would normally have. I think the secret session will be helpful to the members, or I wouldn't have said early today that I would ask for it. And the information that I have, I believe, will be information that, in my opinion, has been available to the members with the security clearance that allows them to normally see this information. The Intelligence Committee would already know the kinds of things that I would intend to discuss this evening. And
I asked reclaiming my time, I asked the chair, and the chair is unaware of what this information might be. And I am continuing to object until I'm satisfied that this meeting is necessary in secrecy, and why it didn't go to the Intelligence Committee first. I don't feel comfortable being manipulated with scare tactics. Why is it this didn't come forward prior to voting on FISA tomorrow?
Well, I think we are prior to voting on.
I yield.
I thank my good friend for yielding. What I think the whip is saying, the whip came to me earlier today, said he wanted to discuss information which the Intelligence Committee has, which the broad reach of members do not have, but he did not feel he could discuss that in open session. The rules provide for the whip to make a motion to do that. That will then be a relatively lengthy process. The whip and I discussed this on his representation that he had information that he felt in good conscience he could not divulge, not because it's not in the bosom of the intelligence committees or, frankly, maybe the Judiciary Committee, which has been cleared, but because he felt that it was information that was not releasable.
Reclaiming my time.
Well, if I could just continue?
All right.
Just to finish. What we have done is reached an agreement that makes it very clear that there are very short parameters for this discussion and debate. I want to say that I generally have not been here as long as Mr. Obey, but my experience on these kinds of sessions, whether they're briefings or things, has been the same as his. I've rarely learned something that I couldn't read in U.S. News and World Report or Time the day before or the day after. But having said that, we have tried to reach an agreement with the minority would facilitate the receiving of information which many members, not the intelligence members or the judiciary members, but many members have not had available to them and could not be discussed in open session. I thank the gentlelady for yielding.
I just want to end this with this. I went over to the chair of intelligence and I said, do you know about this? He said no. He can speak for himself. But why at this time are we given information that is supposed to be so strategic we have to do it before we take the vote on FISA? I smell something. And I do not like to be manipulated. So I reserve the right to object. Thank you.
Does the gentlewoman withdraw her reservation at this time? Gentlewoman from California, do you withdraw your reservation to object?
I withdraw. I reserve the right to object.
Does the gentleman from California withdraw her reservation?
I withdraw my reservation.
Gentleman from California withdraws her reservation. Are there further objections?
Reserve my right to object.
Gentleman from Texas.
Madam Speaker, listening to this discussion and to the minority whip, this is my concern.